In today's video, we're going to talk about what inner resistance is, why it happens, and the steps you can start to implement today to overcome it. What's up, Omies? It's Kinga here from KingaGorski.com, and today we're going to jump into all things inner resistance, personal resistance to change, how we can transcend, get to the other side, and actually start taking actions on your dreams. But before we do, hi! It's been a freaking year and a half since my last video. Some things happened and I was forced to take a hiatus. Maybe we'll get into it in another video, another time. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing. I would love you forever, and I truly do appreciate your support. Each and every single one of you really does make a difference. Be sure to hit the little bell notification as well so you'll be notified every time I post a new video, which will be certainly much more consistent than one every year and a half. I've been thinking about relaunching this YouTube channel every single day. I kid you not, for that entire time, and I hope that you can feel my energy and joy just beaming like sun rays out of my face. I'm doing the thing, y'all. I'm doing the thing. Without much further ado, let's dive into first what personal resistance is. That inner resistance is something that surely every single human being on the face of this earth has faced many times before. And it's just this feeling of not being able to move forward, of this energetic pushback, if you will, from doing the things that you want to do, achieving the goals, raising the bar higher. It's so important to not let this get you down because it can feel very isolating, as if like the whole what's wrong with me? Why can't I get myself to take that next step? And I've helped dozens of clients in one-on-one coaching sessions, hundreds of students over the years who've come to my yoga classes, just really put their ego aside. That is what it is. The ego, just chattering in your mind that you're not good enough, you're not worthy, who are you to do this? A lot of it is a fear of judgment and opinions from other people as well. And I've certainly fallen victim to this myself. It's not our fault, really. It's the human brain and how it works. So the first thing you want to do is acknowledge the resistance is there and accept it. I was in a period of my life just a few short months ago where I felt like I lost my mojo, I was going through some stuff, and I just didn't feel like myself. And it was the worst. I feared, what if I don't find her again? You know, what if I don't reconnect with that part of myself that has the drive, that has the ambition, that makes me feel alive, because I felt so down. But I knew that this too shall pass. Life is a series of ebb and flows, and you have to trust that with acknowledging the resistance that's showing up for you, that there's a reason that it's there, and you must look at it. Look for the deeper root cause of what this fear or this pushback is bringing up in you. Is it a fear of judgment or opinions from others? Is it a doubt within yourself of a lack of skills? Maybe you have the skills, but you're just not sure if your self-worth or esteem is high enough to share that with the world. So really decide and look introspectively within yourself what might be the source of that resistance. As psychologist Carl Jung has said, what you resist not only will persist, but will also grow in size. Abbreviated today to what you resist persists. So make sure you don't resist the thing, because it will persist. So you have to just accept and then watch it over time fade away, with conjunction of taking small steps forward. What's really important to recognize is that the brain, the human brain, does not want to change in order to conserve energy and also preserve homeostasis. Homeostasis is the state of just regulating our internal conditions in all living organisms. Basically, we don't want to tear things up too much, because it will just be draining on our brain to process everything and to implement that change. Also, when we mess with our homeostasis, we start to get that fight or flight response within the body. We start to panic. Again, the fear of judgment. We don't want to be exiled from the tribe, that primitive side of our brain. We want to be accepted and liked by others. We come into this stressful response within the body, and we fear our basic survival needs when we start to really shake things up. So just know that you are certainly not alone, even though a lot of the times it can feel that way. It happens to all of us, and I find it really comforting to dive into the psychological side of things to really understand why we feel the way that we do. And then by having that knowledge, you can really start to implement some tactical change to overcome it and strive for your dreams, which is so exciting. Try to shift your perspective instead of beating yourself up, to have some grace and compassion for yourself and really understand your mental processes. I found that's been incredibly helpful for myself and the people that I've worked with. Another thing that's been absolutely critical to overcoming that inner resistance that we all feel many, many times over is to talk to people about it and express yourself. This does tie back to accepting and acknowledging that the resistance is there in the first place, because as many things in life, what you don't acknowledge, you cannot change. Once you accept it, confide in either friends, coaches, mentors, someone in your life that will understand, because not everyone is going to be that rock for you to lean against, and we have to be cognizant of that as well. Not everyone is going to help us get over the hump. You need to either find someone who is in the same space as you or trying to do similar things to you, or even if someone is in a different field, someone who's taking risk, challenging themselves, maybe in a position of fear and personal resistance to change as well. Talk to one another, empower each other, support one another, help carry each other through this challenging mindset obstacle, and know that it can be overcome. I always say power in numbers. When you feel isolated, when you feel so alone, just know that it's not just you. It is the human brain, human condition, happens to everybody. Another thing you need to really challenge yourself and get to that next tier is to have a strong enough why. Surely if you're watching this video, you've heard this before. It's so crucial. The reason for that is, if you envision yourself, say 1 to 5 years from now, will you be satisfied with where your life is at if it were to stay the same? If you're thinking to yourself, yeah, you know, like I would probably be okay here, like it's not so bad, well then your why isn't strong enough to really inspire your brain and you to want to take action. You need a sense of urgency. A lot of the time, if you have a fire lit under your ass, you can really start to move mountains. But you also have to look at internal and external motivators. So something internal would be like you identify yourself with this certain role, or you don't feel fulfilled, so you have to start to take action to step into that best version of yourself and really bring meaning and passion back into your life. An external source of motivation could be, I need to do this for my family, I need to support them, I need to do this for my community and help them out and make some sort of reform, implement some type of change. Those other factors can really help spur you into action. Now, with associating your identity with something, with achieving your goals, it's quite paradoxical being a yoga teacher where Buddha says attachment is the root of all suffering. In the yoga community, it is said that you want to release attachment from your identity to material items or your job title, the roles that you have in life, even aspects of your personality that you define so closely with. You want to remove yourself, because if you're so strongly, tightly wound and attached to those things, if one day they were to be stripped away from you, you would feel maybe worthless, depressed, like you just lost yourself and you wouldn't know who you are. Whereas on the other hand, living in a modern society as we do today, and many high-performing individuals, they attach their identity so strongly with the goals that they achieve, and that actually helps propel them to actually achieve them. The work that I do, being a yoga teacher, but also being an entrepreneur and also living in modern day society, I really try to find a sweet spot, a fusion between the two. So you don't drive yourself absolutely mad on one hand, but then you're not like a lazy couch potato on the other. You may be different. Take what works for you from this and then leave the rest. But I really like to find that balance in between the seesaw of associating yourself with that identity and then also detaching from the ego. You can even shoot way down the line to the last days of your life. Will you look back and be filled with regret? Jim Rohn has a wonderful quote. We must all suffer from one of two pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The difference is discipline weighs ounces while regret weighs tons. Start something small. What is one teeny tiny step, even if you need to crawl, even if you need to drag yourself to take that one little piece of action, and it will truly be maybe difficult to start, but it will really start to lift weight off your shoulders, knowing that you're moving forward. Even if you take 1 or 2 steps backward, again, move forward. I got a secret to tell you. You already know what it is that you need to do. Now, hold on. Even if you feel utterly confused and being like, I've got this grandiose vision, I don't know where to start. Yes, you do. Either there's this little seedling inside of you really knows what that first step is to take. And if you're absolutely baffled at what that is, you know that your first step is to do some research, to talk to somebody. Maybe you have a peer or colleague or friend of a friend doing what you want to do a few steps ahead of you. Ask for advice from someone else to tell you what that first step is. Read a book, read an article, watch a YouTube video. There is so much information out there. Bite the bullet, get over the hump. It will be the most rewarding thing you've done in a long time, I promise you. Start to form habits. Even if you move toward your goal and fight that inner resistance for 20 minutes a day, if you can't find 20 minutes in your day, I know y'all are busy, we all are, but time comes to those who create it. Eventually, that little 20 minutes every day will become a habit. It takes an average of 66 days to form a habit, as Brendon Burchard has researched in his book, High Performance Habits. Awesome book, really tactical, highly recommend. So an average of 66 days, sure, some people for some things might take a little bit less, some perhaps a little bit more, or a lot more. Shoot for that target mark and watch that habit will eventually become more seamlessly integrated into your everyday tasks and doings. It won't feel like such a burden forever. Start small, move forward. So now you can really start to understand yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Have an understanding of how human brain psychology works. I found by educating myself on why I act the way that I act or think the way that I think sometimes, even though I so strongly want to move toward my ambition, but sometimes I feel stuck. It has been the greatest help to just research and better understand myself as a human, and then start to implement some real change and strategy moving forward. So now you know what inner resistance is, why it happens, and real steps that you can start to implement today to overcome it. But do you have the community to support and rally around you? I would love for you to join our online Facebook group, the Live Inspired Mastermind. I host it, and I'm so excited to get this group revamped, recharged, starting it off right in 2019. The link to join is in the description box below. I'd love for you to share what else you might do that wasn't mentioned in this video to overcome your own personal challenges, and when that resistance rears its ugly head, what do you do? Drop it in the comments below, because you never know who else is reading them and who you might help with your own advice. Be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell notification again so you never miss a video, and I'm so excited to share more content with you. Please like this video if you dug the information that I shared, and most importantly, above everything else, I would love if you would share this video even with one friend or family member who might really be able to utilize this information and get through a more difficult challenge in their life as well. I'll see you guys so soon. Keep it real. Thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.